Welcome to Actify's ActiveImage Protector's tutorial videos. This is Robert from the Actify webinars. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to install and use HyperBoot, a free standalone add-on that can boot any ActiveImage Protector backup as a virtual machine in minutes, providing an interim availability solution to bridge the gap between disaster and recovery and bypassing the lengthy physical to virtual conversion and recovery process. A veritable spare tire while performing a recovery or migration in the background. There are two ways to install HyperBoot. The first is by using the ActiveImage Protector installer. You can run the setup.exe file used when installing ActiveImage Protector. Select Install Others, then select Actify HyperBoot, then click Execute. For this video, we'll be using the HyperBoot installer that can be downloaded free of charge from the Actify website. The HyperBoot installation has no additional options to set. Click Install to start. When the installation complete message is displayed, click Done. A HyperBoot shortcut has been placed on the desktop for convenience, but for this video, we will be initiating HyperBoot from the Windows Start menu. Go to the Windows Start menu and select Actify, then click HyperBoot. Begin by selecting the source backup file that will be used to create the HyperBoot virtual machine. From the first pane under Destinations, we'll navigate to a local drive and folder to select a backup source for the HyperBoot virtual machine. Here, we'll select a backup image file under the Server 2016 folder. Click on the file. The last recovery point appears in the second pane under Clients and Recovery Points. By hovering over the selected recovery point, an image summary appears. Confirm that this is the file for which you would like to create a HyperBoot virtual machine. We're now going to drag and drop the recovery point into the local hypervisor which will host the HyperBoot virtual machine. Now, let's configure the HyperBoot machine. Begin by identifying the hypervisor target from the drop-down menu. Here, we select Hyper-V Local. Now we'll just go down the list and select the configuration options for this HyperBoot machine. If performing a migration of the original virtual machine from one hypervisor to another, tick this checkbox. Now use the drop-down menu to specify whether this will be a fixed or dynamic disk. Next, let's provide a name that will identify this HyperBoot machine in the Hyper-V Manager. For this video, let's name the HyperBoot virtual machine to HB data_server_2016 HyperBoot. Set the firmware, and if necessary, tick the checkbox for Modify Boot Entry for EFI System if the migrating original backup image was BIOS and the new virtual host is of EFI firmware. Then set the operating system that is applicable for the HyperBoot machine. Now, designate the number of CPUs and the amount of RAM to be applied to the HyperBoot machine. Tick the checkbox to use dynamic memory. Here, if there are multiple volumes or disks, the disk assignments will be displayed. Slide the switch to designate the assigned boot drive. Now, use the drop-down menu to select the network that you want assigned to the HyperBoot machine. Just below the left pane is a checkbox that, when ticked, will open the console once the HyperBoot machine starts up. In the second pane, using the drop-down menu, select the specific recovery boot point, then specify where to save it. The three checkboxes are self-explanatory. Click Save. Now we're back at the original HyperBoot console. You'll notice that the HyperBoot data server is now listed under the third pane. To start up the HyperBoot machine, click the large place symbol on the center of the screen. The rotating dots signify that the virtual machine is starting up. Then the machine appears via an RDP session through the local hypervisor, and we finish at the Server OS Login splash screen. Now, let's get back to the hypervisor desktop and open the Hyper-V Manager. Here I've highlighted the HyperBoot server, and we can observe the status of this virtual machine and confirm that it is indeed on and running. Now back to the HyperBoot console. Once we've used the HyperBoot machine as an interim machine for migrating or recovering the designated virtual machine from a backup, we can now power it off by clicking the power symbol located in the small screen on the third pane. A dialog box pops up with a message that all data from this temporary machine will be lost if continuing, but also states that all data will be saved if powering off the HyperBoot virtual machine is done from the Hyper-V Manager. For this video, we'll click Continue. As the virtual machine has been powered down, a message from the virtual machine connection is displayed stating that the session was disconnected. Click Exit. One more look at the Hyper-V Manager and we see that the virtual machine labeled HB-Data_Server_2016 HyperBoot has been removed from the hypervisor. Now we return to the HyperBoot console to delete the HyperBoot virtual machine by clicking the X in the third pane next to the small screen. A confirmation dialog box appears. Click OK. Now we're going to demonstrate how we will select a backup source for the HyperBoot virtual machine from another backup server and then configure the HyperBoot machine to boot from a different hypervisor. We'll begin by inputting a destination path for the backup source. For this video, we'll be accessing the backup sources from 192.168.254.16. Under the first pane, beneath Destinations, we enter the IP address and click the refresh arrow. Enter your login and password credentials for the destination and click Connect. Let's expand the IP address and then click the D drive to display the contents. Then, click the backup folder, then click the HSB_VM_backup store folder. Now select a backup that appears in the second pane. As we had done previously, drag and drop that backup to the third pane. Just one problem. There are no hypervisors listed. No worries. Let's just click the Add Hypervisors icon at the top of the console. A dialog box is displayed. Select a hypervisor type by using the drop-down menu and select Microsoft Hyper-V. Now input the target hypervisor's hostname or IP address and your login credentials. Then click Add. The next dialog box that appears explains that to boot a backup image as a VM, the Microsoft iSCSI target server needs to be enabled. Click OK to allow. The added hypervisor information is now displayed. Click OK. Now we have a hypervisor to host the HyperBoot machine. Drag and drop the selected client to the configured hypervisor. The HyperBoot configuration dialog box is now displayed. As we have already demonstrated the configuration settings earlier in the video, we'll skip through quickly and then click Save. As before, the HyperBoot machine is displayed in the third pane. Let's click the power button to start up the HyperBoot machine. As we check the Hyper-V Manager, we see that HyperBoot-data_server_2016 is on and running. This concludes our tutorial on ActiveImage Protector's HyperBoot. Should you have any questions, issues, or concerns, or you just need support assistance, please contact us at Actify by email or phone. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in Actify's ActiveImage Protector's HyperBoot solution.